Uh, I think y'all have the list on guys that didn't practice: Mason Foster, Gerald McCoy, and Austin Safarian Jenkins. Austin's getting better. The swelling is going down, uh, so his recovery is speeding up a little bit quicker than we thought. Gerald's, got him fitted in a cast today, and he's feeling a lot better also. Mason wasn't able to do an awful lot today. Besides that, um, you know, short week, had to change up the schedule a little bit, but we have a Thursday game schedule that we're pretty comfortable with. As much as anything, of course, today you want to try to hit all of the situations. Tomorrow we'll do a little bit more and then play the game. As much as anything, we want our players fresh, and we want them to know what they're doing. Excited about playing in front of a national TV audience, which is good. We haven't played our best ball. Here's a chance for a lot of people to kind of go on this look on what they see from us. So we need to play well. Division, we lost a division home game, and we need to steal one. Beyond that, Jeff Tedford was not in the building today. He's still, working through some things. I'm trying to think of all the questions you could possibly ask me, so we could keep this press conference about 2 or 3 minutes. Let's see, is there anything else I haven't gone over? I'll take your question.
The cast with Gerald, is this one that will enable him to use his hands in some respect?
It's not a club. Today, of course, he had his thumb out, so we'll see. Eventually, that's what he'll end up playing with, with some protection, being able to, of course, use all of your fingers.
Jeff Tedford, was this a setback of any kind for Jeff?
No, it's not. It's not a setback. And in case, to stop you from having to ask me every day, if he has a setback, I'll let you know. So beyond that, everything is going along smoothly, and that's about all I can give you right now.
Still plan on him going to Atlanta with the team?
The plan hasn't changed.
Lovie, you were here in '99 when Warren Sapp broke his hand.
99. Okay.
99.
Work with me a little bit.
Warren Sapp broke his hand in September, came back, was the NFC Defensive Player of the Year. You guys went to the NFC Championship game. So the three technique, you can play with a broken hand at a pretty high level, but just, do you remember that period of time at all? And can you talk
Of course
about
I
it?
do. I remember the period of time, but you can't say that all hand injuries are the same. Warren did have one. He was able to play with it. But there's different degrees on when you can. For us, of course, Warren didn't play on a short week back then, too. But we'll kind of see. We know that eventually he'll get back out there, and he's trying to get out there as soon as he possibly can. But the Thursday night game is a little challenging. We'll see.
How much is his ability to be a pass rusher, how much is that impacted by his ability not to be able to use that one hand?
You can't really rush the pass and can't play three technique with one arm. So you need to be able to use that. Gerald is a heck of a player, but I might have a chance against him if I made him put his hand behind his back and just play with one hand. So that's pretty hard to do. So eventually he'll be able to use both, and we'll get him out there then. And that's not to say he can't do it. It's just a matter of time. Again, he's a quick healer. He was light on his feet out there today.
Are you encouraged by what you're seeing out of Michael Johnson, the fact that he's been back this week?
Yes, I am. Mike was, I think y'all were out there early. Spat it up, ready to go. As much as anything for him, we need to get him out there to see what all he could take as far as the soreness on the ankle. This isn't a long-term thing, but, they take a little bit of time still, but we'll see. It's also challenging when you play on turf too. So hopefully he can go. Of course, playing against an offense like that, we'll need all of our pass rushers. Same time, I was pleased with what Daquan Bowers and Will Golston, guys hadn't played an awful lot, what they were able to do coming off of the injuries.
With injuries and the short week, where do you focus? How do you turn your attention to trying to get something done between now and Thursday night for Atlanta?
We just go with our same routine. If you have an injury, you're constantly getting treatment and trying to, get as healthy as you can as soon as you possibly can. But everything else just kind of keeps moving on. We've known about this Thursday game, of course, for a while, so we've had a plan in place on And I mentioned earlier, we have a plan that we feel comfortable with getting ready for it with a short turnaround. They have a short turnaround too. Most of these games I've been in have ended up being pretty good football games. It's not like they're sloppy games based on not having the normal allotted amount of time between the games. A lot of times you can't put an awful lot in, and guys, excited about getting out there right away.
Marcus Arroyo has kind of gotten thrust into a bigger role in the last 2-3 weeks here. Just want to see how you think he's handled calling plays as a first-time NFL assistant at such a young age.
At such a young age, there's a lot of young guys making calls in the league, and I think our offensive staff has handled it well. Everyone wants to go just to Marcus, but it's a group effort, and I think we've done a pretty good job. As a football team, we're 0-2, so we haven't done a good enough job overall, but I don't think we've lost an awful lot based on guys having to shuffle. It's like that on our football team. We've had players out, and guys have stepped up, and we would like to see the next man up, coaching our players to step up and do the job.
The next man up at middle linebacker was Dane Fletcher last week. Would he be in there again? And what kind of player is he? What are his strengths and abilities?
Well, he's a player that we went out to get, so that kind of tells you. We watched him on video. He has excellent speed. He's good in space. He's been a good special teams player for us. As you look at our history, we talked about '99 a little while ago. As you look at our history of Sheldon Quarles, Jeff Gooch, guys who come in and been special teams players before they moved into a permanent role, at the linebacker position. So this is a normal progression for a Tampa Bay linebacker for me, and he's a smart guy. He got plenty of time last week, so we feel pretty comfortable with him if Mason can't go.
Lovie, Josh McCown talked about some of his uncharacteristic poor decisions and said he has to realize when he gets out of the pocket, you don't have to make every play. How vital is it from your standpoint that some of those are cleaned up?
It's critical. You have to protect the football. We talk so much about ball security. You just look in the league, and not just Josh, you look in the league. I think except for there were 2 quarterbacks, I think 2 out of 13 games this past week, if your quarterback threw an interception, 1, you lost the football game. So it's about protecting the football. It's about the turnover ratio, but if you talk about the quarterback, sometimes it's good to just, bring the ball down and live to see another day, or live to see another down.
Coach, you referenced Will Golston doing some good things on Sunday. Last year he played mostly on the left side. Sunday he was on the right side. Do you see him best suited toward one of those end positions? We
would like for our guys to be able to do both. Just don't want to lock in a player at one position. But I think Will can play on the right and left side. In an ideal world, probably more on the left. Most teams have their tight end on the right side, so having him, as a big anchor point on a tight end is a pretty good situation for us to be in. But also having Will be able to move inside too. That's it's a big body, in front of a quarterback. So there are a couple of options we have with him. I've been pleased with the amount of progress he's made since training camp.
Lovie, you're facing an elite quarterback on the road where they score a lot of points at the Dome. Does that put any more premium on your ground game to keep those chains moving and control the clock?
Yes, it does. But, as a general rule, we want to be able to run the football and keep drives going just in general. But it does when you play a group like this. But for our football team, we think it's to our advantage, too, to be able to go on the turf, where you can get good traction. And, for the defense, the crowd isn't into the game, so it's a quiet environment. And we need to be able to get pressure on him and get him off of his spot, because him sitting back, 7-on-7 is tough duty for you.
I saw Keith Tandy working with the nickels today. Is that just a function of the depth you have with 4 other guys at safety?
I never talk about what we're doing. You asking me what position Keith, who's been safety, is playing out there in practice? Is that what you're asking me?
Sure.
I never talk about something like that. I can't believe you would ask me something like that, in here.
Well, is it unsubstantiated report about it. So, you know, we got to follow up.
I'm just going to go next question as we're going through.
If Doug Martin is able to play as you would hope, and Bobby coming off the game he did, I know they both would probably, be used, but do you go with the hot hand since Bobby is coming off a 144-yard game in terms of the bulk of the?
No, I think it's great that Bobby had that type of game. And, from probably the first time you asked, we said we want to play more than one running back. 2, maybe 3. That's why we have 3. We've had 3 up every time we could. No, that's just making our running back position stronger. We know what Doug brings to the table, but that was a great game by Bobby Rainey. And as Bobby will tell you, I can, it's not the first time I've carried the football, and I can play in this league. And he did. Of course, it was a great job by our line giving him holes, but I mean the plays after contact, after he came in direct contact with the defender. That's what I was impressed with. So the more the better. Can't have too many good running backs.
Coach, as someone who's always focused, not just on building your players on the field, but also off the field, Derek Brooks, Charles Tillman, are you at all bothered by some of the news about, some of these players getting involved in domestic incidents?
Very much so. I believe in the Shield too, and what it represents and what our players represent and who's looking at them. There's a lot being said right now. I was asked earlier, have I gone over with my players not to hit a woman? No, I haven't. Don't have to. We all know what right from wrong. It's pretty simple. There are some things you just don't do, and for us to continually talk about it, have to talk about it, it's terrible. For me, I have a wife, I have a mother, sisters, on down the line, and just no place for it. And that's how it's coming out. We're trying to do something about it, but it's just not an NFL problem. It's a societal problem, as I see it. But yes, just like everybody else, moving away from my role, I'm disturbed by some of the things that we're having to deal with right now too.